Hi there, friends. This is Allison Richard, your holistic stress management and self-care coach. And today is summer solstice. So happy summer solstice. And whenever you are watching this, today I wanted to talk to you about this idea of summer burnout and give you 5 ways and practices that you can put into play to help you avoid summer burnout and actually get the most out of your summer. So what is this idea of summer burnout? So this is really sometimes those feelings of just exhaustion or depletion or lack of focus or motivation that you might be feeling caused by some of the extra pressures that come with the summer season. So what are those things that can add pressure to summer? Because when we think about summer, and I personally love summer, it is my favorite season ever. And when we think about summer, it's really the one season of the year that's really associated with this idea of, long, luxurious days and lazy, time to take vacation and just spend time with friends and, really enjoy those lazy days of summer. And so why is it that we would have burnout in summer? So some of those things that add a little bit of pressure onto us for the summer is, first of all, just the idea of the increased heat that comes with summer. So that increased heat and often humidity is something that naturally causes our physical bodies to want to move slower and can make us feel more lethargic as it is. And since the days are often so much longer, especially depending on where you live and what the temperature is for you, often our body doesn't get too much of a reprieve from the heat overnight because the days are so long. So it can become very taxing on our systems, especially as we get into those deep summer days. And with summer and these longer days and more light, we also tend to have much more packed social calendars. So it's filled with increased opportunities for socializing and events and travel, which means we actually often are busier now than we are at any other time of the year, which is a pace that can go completely against our body's desire to move slowly and really be able to enjoy our time in this luxurious fashion. And so with that also comes trying to juggle this desire for work and play. So we take more vacations oftentimes in the summer, and that often means if we're traveling or we're just having more events, that we're potentially spending less time working or in the office. And so we're trying to juggle our jobs that most likely are going to have the same amount of tasks in a day or a week that we have at any time of the year. But now we're trying to juggle it with this travel or much busier calendars, which can create some stress. And it can be really hard to feel safe to go on vacation or to really completely unplug without having some anxiety or worry or potentially feelings of overwhelm about what's going to be there when you plug in and come back to it. And then this idea of perfectionism. So any of us who are high achievers, I'm right there with you. Whether it's planning a vacation or hosting family for a barbecue or a game night or finishing a work project, it can be really easy to fall into that perfectionist category of feeling like we need to give 110% and, we need to be the Martha Stewart when we throw the party and everything has to look perfectly, which can add some stress just to everything that we're trying to do if we're trying to do it all to that really, really, really high expectation and standard. And sometimes those expectations can come from ourselves and sometimes they can come from other people. So just knowing where those come from. And then lastly, just the idea of school being out. So we have different schedules in the summer. Kids are out, so possibly juggling camp schedules or activities or coordinating childcare that's you don't normally have to coordinate during the year, or maybe just finding ways to entertain them more because they're spending more time at home. So all of these things can add to this idea of burnout. So what is it that we do? So how can you reduce that possibility of getting burned out and actually be able to have those feelings of being really relaxed and present and joyful and really enjoying your summer and creating all of those memories that you want to create with your family, with your friends? So my first tip for this is really this idea of delegating. And I will say this is probably the one I need to learn to practice the most at this point in time. And, we don't really have to do it all. And oftentimes when we try, we quickly realize that something has to give. Like, we can't do it all. And oftentimes that'll be things that are the things we want to do, or things like sleep or rest. So really delegate those things that maybe you don't really have to do. You don't need to be the one that does them. Someone else could do them equally as well. Or those things that maybe you just don't like to do or you don't want to do. It could be colleagues, family members, friends. You could hire someone to do things. Just find little ways to delegate so that you can take some things off your plate. And with that goes with the idea of really saying no. So we don't have to say yes to opportunity that comes our way. And for many of us, that's actually part of our life's journey, is to begin to recognize what opportunities are actually aligned for us. So which are the ones that are going to feed and nourish us and light us up, and which are the ones that it's actually okay to say no to because they are potentially going to be a little bit more draining. And in that idea, it's really all about momentum. So the more that we spend our time and energy doing things we don't want to do, or saying yes to maybe a party that we just don't really want to attend for one reason or the other, it'll kind of drain the energy even more because we're spending our energy on something we don't want to be doing in the first place. Whereas if we're using our energy on the things that really light us up and inspire us and energize us, that's actually going to help create energy even though we are utilizing energy. So really just kind of finding that way to say no to the things that aren't aligned for you, which also goes to incorporating rest and sleep. So again, oftentimes if we're super, super busy, one of the things that goes first is that idea of rest or sleep. And with the daylight sometimes going until, super late into the evening at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., it's harder for us to kind of wind down and actually go to sleep, or just have those moments of just quiet and rest where we're not super busy and just going all day long. So as we kind of incorporate that, just noticing if you are feeling burned out or are feeling tired, try increasing the hours of sleep that you're getting or incorporating periods of rest. Because even though there is daylight that's much longer, it doesn't mean that our bodies actually have the ability to go from sunrise to sunset or beyond. And so that also goes with kind of prioritizing and setting boundaries for yourself. So again, saying no to the things you don't want to do. So prioritize, what is it that really is meaningful to you or important, or that you really do need to do to take care of yourself. So sometimes self-care is not always those things that are actually fun. Sometimes it's those things that just your future self is going to thank you for. So maybe it is doing the dishes and not having a dirty pile of dishes in the sink, or doing that workout, or saying no to something so that you can take time to kind of rest and recharge. So kind of setting those parameters and those boundaries, not only around how you're spending your time kind of with other people, but also setting parameters around our technology. So when are you going to check and respond to emails? What hours are you going to work? And again, that's going to go for if you're taking vacation. Are you going to spend half of your vacation kind of checking your email every time it buzzes? Or are you going to say, you know what, I'm going to check it once in the morning and once in the afternoon, so that you're actually setting these parameters around this. And that can go with how long you're spending on social media, or playing games on your phone, or watching videos. So really being empowered about how you're spending your time and your energy, and allowing yourself to use those boundaries to actually create more of that sense of freedom in your days. And then finally, being kind of all in on saying on those things that you say yes to. So once you have those boundaries, once you're prioritizing what you really want to do, and you say yes to something, be all in on whatever you're saying yes to. So again, there's nothing that's going to drain your energy more than physically being somewhere, but mentally potentially thinking about something else that you should be doing, or somewhere else that you want to be, or something else you want to be doing. So that's just going to deplete your energy, because you are actually energetically dividing yourself between where you physically are and where another part of you wants to be. So if you say yes, if you are somewhere, just really being very present, being excited to be there, kind of bringing your best self to that situation. And so that you can not only get the most out of the situation, but also be respectful to those people who are choosing to be present with you and to spend time and energy with you. So those are my thoughts and tips around avoiding summer burnout and really just getting them as much as you can. So please feel free to subscribe or follow below. And for more information, you can always go to my website, Allison, Allison, Richard, RICHARD.com. So thank you so much, and wishing you such an amazing, fun, and just nourishing and joyful summer.